Hello everyone, Ron here from RJJ's Reactions and back with Cold Chisel, and the song is called Khe Sanh. And while I was looking up how to pronounce that name, because when I saw the title I wasn't really sure, I saw that it was a site in North Vietnam and one of the costliest battles during the Vietnam War. So I'm guessing this is not likely to be a cheerful song, but let's see what Cold Chisel does with Khe Sanh. Go. Here we don't go, because that's going to be too loud.
I left my heart to the shepherd and Khe Sanh, and I sold myself with my cigarettes to the black market men. At the Vietnam cold turf, I found the ocean to the silver sea, and that song the other best could understand. About the line that got that Siberian train. I never know, be a hero. Way back in 1973, how we said in a sandy harbor. I thought I know everybody could have kissed. She was handing out, was home to the lucky that. Come on! Not so many more from that time on. The nights are so empty until the ground they show the one. And the legs are below. Their minds are soul. And their hearts were here in bad suburban shoes. And the Leo plays radio. I was on big magazine. And in the telling side it's left where the gunship was to be. Car parks made me jump, and I never stopped to dream of the going need for sweet and overtake. And so right across the country from here to it.
I have to be fair, I can barely understand what Jimmy's singing here, and I usually like his voice. I like the gravel in it. I like some of the sound, but I can't understand what he's saying. So it's a good thing we're looking at the lyrics afterwards. I love the harmonica and the instrumentation. It's excellent. I'm not sure whether it's the video quality. This was a link that was sent to me, so I did use the actual link that was suggested. And maybe it will change as we go along, but I'm having a really difficult time understanding what he's singing here.
All the going need for sweet and overtake. And so right across the country from here to it. Tried to find a place to settle down where my mixed up life could live. I held a job on and on, thinking about when I could. About the nightlife later drove me round the bend. And I tried my right for the yet again. Each one found me was one more to hear the words away. And I've been back to Southeast Asia, getting the answer showing there. Now I'm drifting off, just to exile again. Come on, baby, check it out, watch it.
Nice. All right, they're having fun. Maybe near the end of the concert, I don't know. They all look pretty sweaty, and so and probably there are a lot of songs that got everyone hyped up, and so that's why they're laughing and sort of. I mean, obviously you're going to enjoy the concert, and the crowd gets everything going, and so sometimes there's a mismatch with the seriousness of the song and the concert atmosphere and everything else. Of course, everybody there probably knows the words to the song. Apparently, this is either the or one of the most famous Cold Chisel songs. So the audience knows the words very well. So they are understanding what he's singing. And maybe if I heard it several times over, or if I heard earlier versions of it, I probably would have too. But I was having difficulty understanding what he was singing there for some reason. But it wasn't the instrumentation because it was beautiful. I love that. That I really liked, and the harmonica was amazing, really incredible. Let's have a look at the lyrics now. Khe Sanh by Cold Chisel. I left my heart to the sappers round the Khe Sanh, and my soul was sold with my cigarettes to the black market man. I had the Vietnam cold turkey from the ocean to the Silver City, and it's only other vets could understand. Well, yes, I think only vets can understand other vets, especially from a particular war. So I think probably any vet would have some understanding of a Vietnam vet, but probably another Vietnam vet would have the best understanding. And it was such a different war, wasn't it? So, and the reaction to it was very different. So, yes, probably you need another Vietnam vet to understand. My soul was sold with my cigarettes, so as if it gives me the impression that his soul was only worth that much. I'm not sure what sappers are. There may be some, it could be an Aussie term, I don't know, maybe. Or it might be a technical term I'm not familiar with. I'm not a vet. About the long forgotten dockside guarantees, how there were no V-Day heroes in 1973. Yeah, lots of promises of being a hero, lots of promises of pride and glory for the country, etc. And not to say that they're completely empty promises, but they generally don't pan out the way you expect, especially when you're a really young guy and you think in a certain way. And the Vietnam vets were treated so poorly when they came back to the United States or Australia and other places, I guess. Uh, it was just horrendous because they've already gone through the trauma of war and their own issues, and then to come back and not only not be treated as heroes, but actually be treated very, very poorly in many cases. How we sailed into Sydney Harbor, I saw an old friend, but I couldn't kiss her. She was lined, and I was home to the lucky land. I don't know what it means, she was lined. She was like so many more from that time on. Their lives were all so empty until they found their chosen one. And their legs were often open, but their minds were always closed, and their hearts were held in fast suburban chains. So I think returning home and trying to fit in and not being able to fit in too successfully, looking at others' lives as if they were empty. Maybe they were empty in some ways. I don't know, but from his perspective, at least, they were empty. They held fast in suburban chains. So they were living this sort of normal life, and he had not been. And then to try to come back to this sort of routine has to be very, very difficult. And their legs were often open, but their minds were always closed. So he didn't have any trouble finding women, I guess, but they didn't understand him or want to hear it or whatever, because they were trapped in these suburban chains. Maybe I'm not sure I'm on the right track, but I'm working at it. And the legal pads were yellow, hours long, pay packets lean, so not a lot of money, and the telex writers clattered where the gunships once had been. So car parks made me jumpy. So all these sounds are reminding him of the sounds of war. And some vets I know, I've heard, have a lot of difficulty with that. And I never stopped the dreams or the growing need for speed and Novocaine. So many needed drugs when they came back, or at least thought they needed drugs when they came back and got addicted, but many were already addicted because I know there were a lot of drugs in Vietnam. So the drugs just continued. They might have changed the types of drugs, but the drugs continue to be a problem. Trying to solve a problem, but then you end up with another problem on top of it. Yeah, telex writers, very, very noisy when you used to have telex writers and rooms full of typists and back in the day, before computers came around. So I worked across the country from end to end, tried to find a place to settle down where my mixed up life could mend. I held a job on an oil rig, flying choppers when I could, but the nightlife nearly drove me round the bend. So again, trying to fit into so-called normal society, and not being able to find their place where his mixed up life could mend, could fix himself, so to speak. The nightlife nearly drove me round the bend, and that could be for a number of reasons. It could be the noises again, but also I think it could be connected to the mundane existence of people. You know, some of the partying and the worries and the things that people have when you're not in war and you've never been in war, to someone who has been in war and seen such tragedies, they seem so inane, they seem so useless, and you don't fit in. You're not a part of that, right? And you can't make yourself fit in. So it could be partly that as well. And I've traveled around the world from year to year, and each one found me aimless. One more year, the worse for wear. And I've been back to Southeast Asia, and the answer sure ain't there. So, yeah, sometimes you go back to places that you've been or where tragedies have happened, to try to put a bow on it, to try to wrap it up and get rid of it, or at least get rid of the dreams or the nightmares. But it's not working for him. I don't think it works for a lot of people. I know even after my wife died, much smaller tragedy, but personal to me, I went back to some of the places, the local places that we used to haunt, so to speak. Because I don't know, you're just trying to have a connection, and you're kind of trying to tie that piece up and resolve some of that pain. But it doesn't necessarily work because it's all psychological, emotional, and it's very difficult to resolve that. But I'm drifting north to check things out again. Yes, I am. While the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone, and only 7 flying hours, and I'll be landing in Hong Kong. And there ain't nothing like the kisses from a jaded Chinese princess. I'm going to hit some Hong Kong mattress all night long. So heading back to the prostitutes, and there won't likely be a resolution there either, but at least there's a physicality, let's say. They're jaded. They're not really princesses. It's a job for them. That's the jaded part. This is just a job, but it's something. There's the physicality and there's the connection, in a sense. Well, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone, and it's really got me worried. I'm going nowhere and I'm in a hurry. So going nowhere in a hurry. That's a basic idea here. You know, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone. I'm looking to see if I've missed. No, you know, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone. Yeah. All right. Very good lyrics. Makes me very, very sad because so many of there were victims in the war. Obviously, all the people who were killed, soldiers from various countries, and of course the Vietnamese people themselves. But there were also the victims, or all the people that are left, to live through that and to come back home and to try to make a new life and not be able to fit in. And these are mostly young men, people um, about the age or not much older than the majority of students that I teach. So it's very sad when you really think about that, and how they were affected by war, and all of the other things that surround the war. It was caused by the war, but there were a lot of things other than the war itself that created all the problems, including, as he mentioned in the song, all the drug issues and things. All right, very, very good lyrics. I like the very important lyrics, painful in a way, but necessary, I think, to get the message out. I believe that the way it was presented and everyone being so happy in the audience was because of the whole concert, as I mentioned, because it looked like they were maybe near the end because they were all sweating and everything. The The instrumentation in the video, in the music video, was excellent. I loved it, especially the harmonica, amazing. Whoever was playing that was incredible. So I did enjoy this song very much. I just had a little trouble understanding Jimmy and the lyrics when he was singing them. I might listen to an earlier version and see if it's clearer for me. It'll be clearer now because I've read through them, so now I probably can understand them better. But on a first listen, it was tricky. I find that with other singers too, so it could just be me. It's just probably my problem. Let me know what else you'd like to hear from Cold Chisel. I still do have some on my list that I am working through, but let me know. And anyone else you would like to hear. It's Ron from RJJ's Reactions. Bye bye for now.